Well, we got a great new show starting on Saga 960 this week. We got Matt Dean Pettit, sorry, I can't help but say Pettit, and Jeff Cole, who are long-term food guys that have launched a blog and a podcast all about food, and they start the show on Saga 960 Friday. Matt and Jeff, welcome to my show. How are you?
Fantastic,
Very well,
Brian.
thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us, Brian.
My pleasure. So tell me, what's this show all going to be about?
You know what, Brian? So every single week, Jeff Cole, a.k.a. the voice vendor, and I, we bring a kitchen party to Saga 960 listeners. So we are looking and interviewing every single week, featuring some of the best restaurants in the Peel region. So this first week, we're starting off with our good friends at Avani Restaurant Group, which is no stranger to the Peel region there, with 3 different concepts and growing. And then we dip inside, and Jeff, tell them all about our weekly guests and sort of what that starts off with week 1 right now.
So we have, as well as having the 2 guys from Avani, we've also got our good friend Ange Aiello, who is the super wine girl. So she knows everything. She's anything to do with wine, she's got it covered. So we're going to have her on to talk about some wine and what's happening during this interesting time that we're living in with the trends, what people are drinking, what they're done with. But also, we're going to use that wine. We're going to tie it into what happens in our 4th segment on the show. And Matt, why don't you tell them about that?
Yeah, so every week it goes from highlighting, as we said, a local Peel restaurant into our weekly guest. This week is Ange, and she's a wine specialist talking about all the wine buys. But in the 4th segment, Brian, in our show, we always go to a recipe. So we are using one of the wines that Ange talks about this week into a recipe, and that's where the kitchen party is. So, Brian, as you know, and our listeners...
So you're actually going to be in a kitchen doing this broadcasting from a kitchen? Fantastic.
So we do. A lot of times we are from the kitchen, but we take that kitchen experience, whether it's in kitchen or in our studio, but we walk our listeners through what every good kitchen party is. So just picture us in a kitchen right now, and we say, Brian, here's the restaurant, or here's the wine we're talking about. How can we use this in a great recipe? And a recipe sort of comes to life with all of us on the restaurant and all on the airwaves together. So this week, what we're doing is we're taking an amazing French Pinot Noir, a Burgundian Pinot Noir, and we're making one of my favorite recipes, Brian, which is a beef bourguignon. But Jeff is on the call. We take it a little fun. We put a twist on it for our listeners, and we're doing beef bourguignon nachos. So classic French recipe on nachos, ready to go, nice and easy for people.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's a great recipe, and it's a great show. So every single week, myself and Jeff are super excited. So Fridays at 1 p.m., which are going to be a fantastic show starting this Friday at 1 p.m. on Saga 960 is Dine Dash, where we bring the kitchen party to our listeners and having a lot of fun. So that's going to be great. Fun.
Excellent. Now you guys have been doing this for a year, and you've had a podcast already, I understand?
That's right. Yeah. So we started as a podcast just pre-pandemic. We started in October of last year. Very successful. Jeff and I both self-produced it. Lucky enough that the great producers at Saga 960 were able to hear it and say, listen, these guys might be onto something. As you can tell, both Jeff and I have a lot of high energy, and we're a great team. We like to talk with our hands, as Jeff is doing there. Mm-hmm. And, we both have the faces for radio, we think. So it's... We're excited. We're excited to bring this to the airwaves, which is awesome.
Jeff, I can't help but notice the guitar behind you. Are you a guitarist as well?
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm actually wearing a piece of a guitar as well. So
fantastic.
I was a somewhat professional musician for a little while, and then I found that it was a lot easier to just talk and not have to go on stage every night. So now I just do voice stuff, which is a lot easier, far less glamorous, but I've always got the music at heart.
And you guys may know that I do a lot of business and politics and current events on my show. And I've been having a lot of different restaurateurs talk about the challenges of COVID-19 and how it's devastated their business. And so I think that you bringing, attention and light to some of the great restaurants in Peel, what their menu items are, such that people can either order them for takeout or for sure go back as soon as we open up, because that's a sector that's been hurt big time.
It has, yeah. Just living in the space myself, and Jeff, Jeff's been in the restaurant game himself. I'm currently in it, Brian, myself now, and for many years, 20 plus. It's tough. It's tough, as you say, especially from, it could dip into politics. It obviously is definitely in terms of finance and what is happening there. I speak to my colleagues every single day in it, and we're lucky to be able to echo people's voices, their stories, their challenges. I know you do that now on your show. And I think, we've got to spread the love right now. So it's an exciting time to share people's messages and at the same time, give them something to look forward to, whether it's new recipes, new excitement every single week. Jeff's quite the card to keep under wraps there on the show. So it's always fun having Jeff and I go back and forth and talking together.
Jeff, Matt mentioned that he's going to be talking about beef bourguignon. What's your favorite meal?
It's not necessarily meal, it's ingredient. And my go-to ingredient for pretty much everything is noodles.
Noodles?
Oh, I am just, there was a time in my life when I was unable to eat carbohydrates. It was just 10 years where I did not have a single solid carbohydrate. And then once I sort of did something to my stomach, I discovered noodles again. And almost every single day, I will have a dish that has some noodles, whether it's an Italian pasta, whether it's some sort of Asian noodle, whether it's a soup with noodles. It's a weird thing. I'm obsessed with noodles, man. It's just, that's my thing. So, I mean, you can bring anything to the table, throw some noodles underneath it, and I'm happy.
And what's the best wine to go with noodles?
Oh, that might be a question for Ange, and we're going to have to ask that when she comes on each week and does her wine of the week.
That's right. You know what I would say, Brian, to that one is, if it's spicy, you've got to have something like a Riesling or a Gewürztraminer, something that's going to bring that spice out and cool it off, right?
A white wine. That's interesting that you say that.
Yeah, with spicy food, it's always best. So Asian food, if it's spicy, or something with some real kick is always best with like a Gewürztraminer, something with some sweetness there to balance it.
Excellent. Well, I look forward to your show. I think that it's well timed because people are going to be spending a little bit more time at home, and they're going to be, I think, tired of making all their meals themselves. And so therefore thinking about restaurants they can order for takeout from or pick up at. I've noticed a bunch of different restaurants that are now lined up outside for pickup time just around 6:30. And I think that's great. Let's support some of our local restaurants that have been hurting, order some food from them and not have to bother making the meals ourselves. So you're going to do a different restaurant every week?
We are, yeah. So we feature a different restaurant, a voice, so the owner, the chef, somebody from that restaurant, so we can really highlight them. And then, the good kicking thing too is we're also going to have some kind of prize component. So this week we're doing some gift certificates from Avani Group. The following week we've got a great lineup of people coming on, and there will always be a prize component that we're doing, whether it be gift certificates or some kind of prize from the restaurants and our friends in the industry for our listeners here at Saga 960. So.
And remind us all, what time is the show on? Fridays at
1 o'clock.
1 p.m. actually, not 1 at night, although it may replay it at 1 at night. Actually, that's be something. Maybe we should do like every 12 hours do a show.
Well, Jeff,
Jeff,
you're getting ahead of yourself. Let's start and let's ease in first with our listeners and our friends.
Fair enough.
Well, I look forward to watching your show and listening to your show Friday at 1 p.m. on Saga 960. And, when you guys are getting bored, invite me and we'll do a kitchen show on my show with you guys making something in the kitchen. Noodles, probably, right, Jeff?
That sounds fantastic to me, Brian.
And so that's the Dine Dash show. Is that correct?
Correct.
The Dine Dash show, Fridays at 1 with Matt Dean, not petite, but petite, and Jeff Cole, the voice vendor. Look forward to listening in on Friday at 1 p.m. Thanks, guys. Good luck.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you, Brian, very much.
All the best. Thanks, guys.
And that's our show for tonight. Thanks for joining the Brian Crombie Radio Hour, Saga 960. I'm on every Monday through Friday at 6 o'clock. You can get me also streamed online at saga960.ca, or you can get all my podcasts and websites after the fact on briancrombie.com. Have a great evening. And remember, Dine and Dash, Friday, 1 p.m. Good night, everybody.